Hello, everyone. Welcome to the October Cybersecurity Insider Program webinar. Today's topic is a focus on Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we're going to talk about 4 key cybersecurity strategies for healthcare. I'm Laura Pursley. I'm the Marketing Director for CloudWave, and I'm focused on the cybersecurity solutions. And joining us today is Jonathan Bice, Senior Security Architect for CloudWave. For our agenda today, we're going to be recapping the 4 key themes that we've been focusing on all month for Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And then we're going to talk about resources that are specific for healthcare that CISA and HHS have to make sure that you're aware of those and where to access those and how to use them. And we'll also talk about 4 key recommendations that you can use as you're defining your cybersecurity strategy going into 2024. And then I'll give you a sneak peek into the Cybersecurity Insider Program going into 2024. And our main goal today is to really touch on these 4 key areas and then give you resources that you can take back to your teams that you can help with your cybersecurity strategy going into next year. And as you'll see when we go forward, we're going to be sharing several links in this presentation. So we will be sharing this presentation with you in the follow-up email. So you'll have access to all of those links. And don't forget to put any questions in the questions pane if you have any questions throughout the webinar, and we'll get to those later. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan.
Hello, everyone. Jonathan Bice here. A little about me. I spent 20 years in a regional hospital with the last 7 as the CIO. I got into cybersecurity in 2008 when I thought it would be cool to be certified in ethical hacking and forensics. Since then, my passion continues to be in the field, leading to me to where I am today. I want to thank you all for taking the time to join today's session, where we will discuss the CISA and NCA Cybersecurity Awareness Month's 4 key cybersecurity behaviors that, if followed, will lead to a safer online experience. Since 2004, the President and Congress have declared October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It's a dedicated month for private and public sectors to work together to raise overall awareness about the importance of cybersecurity. CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and the NCA, which is the National Cybersecurity Alliance, co-manage Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and they've developed a toolkit to help spread the message of the importance of cybersecurity. This year actually marks the 20th occurrence of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And in recognition of that, CISA has announced a new enduring message, and they've labeled it Secure Our World. It's going to be integrated across all their CISA campaigns and programs, and you can see that in the slide here. In the bottom right corner is the logo, Secure Our World. And the toolkit includes templates, images, and content that will help any organization spread the message and show their support for the initiative. So what is cybersecurity awareness about? Why is it important? It's important that we raise the overall awareness of cybersecurity best practices, and we need to put focus on the importance of cybersecurity so that individuals have the knowledge and the tools to protect themselves and their sensitive data. And in doing so, we're going to improve the overall cybersecurity in the organizations where they work. It's also important that we develop and implement tailored cybersecurity plans and processes, which are going to be key to protecting and maintaining business operations in both government and private entities. This year's focus is on 4 easy ways that we can stay safe online. You may already be aware and have implemented all of them, but there may be some organizations that haven't. I've actually seen some organizations that lack cybersecurity understanding move to reduce security this year. So the first recommendation we're going to look at is to use strong passwords and password managers. Passwords need to be long, random, and unique, and they need to include all 4 types of characters. So that's uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. Your password managers are powerful tools, and they can help create and store secure passwords. So it makes it easier to have the unique passwords for each site. We need to turn on multi-factor authentication. So passwords alone are not enough to protect your online accounts. And you need to enable multi-factor authentication for any site that offers it, especially email, social media, and financial sites. You need to recognize and report phishing attacks. Phishing remains a significant threat, and the use of AI is making it more difficult to recognize phishing emails. You need to be cautious of unsolicited emails requesting personal information and avoid sharing sensitive information or credentials with unknown sources. And the last message is to update your software. You need to run updates and enable automatic updates where possible. You also need to run manual updates just to see if there are any additional updates that the automatic updates didn't get. I recently read that 85% of security events could be avoided by properly updating software. And at Cloudwave, we recognize some organizations have trouble maintaining updates, which is something we have a program that we can help with. The National Cybersecurity Alliance, it does research each year to understand online behaviors. And the annual report from 2022 it showed that only 33% of individuals create unique passwords for all their accounts. This is important because if an account gets breached, a hacker will try that password on possible other accounts. So we want to use individual accounts or passwords for each account. And an individual can have as many as 100 accounts, making it difficult to remember all their passwords. And that's where password managers come in. But only 18% of the survey participants had downloaded a password manager. 43% of the respondents had never heard of multi-factor authentication. And of the 57% that had heard of it, only 79% said they had used it. That's good news, that out of the 79%, 94% of those actually continue to use it. So that tells us that when people begin to use MFA, they usually continue to do so. Continuing with the good news, we see that 92% of respondents admitted to taking action after security training. 58% of those say they are better at recognizing phishing. 45% started using strong passwords and unique passwords, and 40% started using MFA. And lastly, 40% started regularly installing software updates. So there's two things we can gather from this survey, this report, and it's that cybersecurity training initiatives are having a positive impact. But it also tells us there's still a lot of work to be done. We need to build a strong cybersecurity culture, and we do that by using basic cybersecurity training, because we've got to familiarize our staff with cybersecurity concepts and activities associated with implementing cybersecurity best practices. We need to identify available cybersecurity training resources, and those are available through professional associations, educational institutions, private sector, and government sources. And we need to focus on topics that are in our current threat landscape, like phishing and good email practices. We need to stay current on cybersecurity events and incidents. This helps us identify lessons learned and helps to maintain vigilance and agility to cybersecurity trends. Also, bad actors tend to use the same methodologies and tool sets from time to time, and it'll help us identify and possibly stop some threats. We encourage you to have your teams join the Cybersecurity Insider Program if they're not already a member, because this is a good way for them to learn and get information on the events and incidents. We want to encourage employees to make good choices online and learn about risks like phishing and business email compromise. Both CISA and NCA have additional resources that you may find helpful. With CISA, you can report a cyber issue. You can learn about security by design, cross-sector cybersecurity performance goals, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And then some more resources they have there. And then NCA has resources and guidelines and video on demand that you can use. Some contact information where you could actually reach out and ask questions to CISA and NCA about Cybersecurity Awareness Month. CISA has a website and also an email address, and so does NCA. And when we look at Cloudwave, We have the Cybersecurity Insider Program that you guys are a member of. And again, if you have anyone in your organization that you think could benefit, we would encourage them to go ahead and join the program. We have a cybersecurity awareness toolkit for healthcare that you can use, and you can get cybersecurity solutions and services from our website. So real quick, we want to take a poll, and we want to ask, have you utilized any of the CISA resources for Cybersecurity Awareness Month?
Okay, so Jonathan, the poll is open. If you all want to take a moment and answer the poll, I'll leave it open for just a little bit longer. Let us know if you've been utilizing any of the resources from CISA, or if you maybe weren't aware of those, or if you plan to but just haven't utilized them yet. Looks like there's still some votes coming in, so we'll leave it open for a little bit longer. All right, looks like the voting has slowed down, so I'm gonna go ahead and close the poll. Okay, so it looks like the majority of you have used some of the resources from CISA, so that's good news. And then there are some of you, 24%, that were not aware of the resources available. And then about 15% said no, they haven't had time, or you plan to. And a very few, 9%, have used all of the resources available, which is great.
Thank you, Laura. That is what we expected to hear, and hopefully this presentation will help raise some awareness to some of these tools that are available. So let's take a look at the CISA and HHS cybersecurity resources for healthcare. The Cybersecurity Act of 2015, it actually included Section 405D, which called for a more coordinated approach to cybersecurity in the healthcare industry. And in 2017, HHS created a task force of nearly 200 professionals, expert, and industry leaders to develop consensus-based guidelines, practices, and methodologies to strengthen the healthcare against cybersecurity threats. The health industry cybersecurity practices, or HICCUP, that's how it's pronounced, was created as voluntary guidance for the health industry. And we wanted to make sure you were aware that HHS recently published an updated HICCUP that consists of 3 documents. The first document is a main document that describes managing threats and protecting patients. The second document is a Tech Volume 1. It's really intended for small business. And the last document, the Tech Volume 2, is intended for medium to large enterprises. The 2023 health industry cybersecurity practices included 10 mitigation tactics to address the top 5 cybersecurity threats facing healthcare. And those are social engineering, ransomware, loss or theft of equipment or data, insider, accidental or malicious data loss, and attacks against connected medical devices. We also want to make sure you're aware that CISA has a cross-sector performance goals, CPGs, which are a subset of cybersecurity practices aimed at meaningfully reducing risk to both critical infrastructure and society. And these CPGs are intended to provide organizations of all sizes across all sectors with clear and easy to understand recommendations that they can work toward in a step-by-step nature to reduce the likelihood and impact of cyber attacks. The CPGs are organized to align with the NIST CSF functions, which are identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. This screenshot shows 4 of the 10 mitigation practices in the health industry cybersecurity practices. So each of the practices is described in detail in the tech volumes, and it includes resources like awareness posters and the ability to check your organization alignment with the practice. A few areas that you may want to consider planning for in 2024. Those are personal training and awareness, development and implementation of new technologies, acquisition and customization of new technologies, and fostering a consistent, robust, and continually updated approach to cybersecurity. These are general topics that are gathered from the 2023 405D tech volumes that we talked about on the previous slide. And if you want to know more, we'll be sending out the links after the session. So we'd like to take another poll and ask if you'll be interested in us deep diving into these 4 areas as live webinar topics for the Insider program in 2024.
Okay, so the poll is live. If you want to take a moment to make your selection, let us know. We're always looking for your input into topics for these webinars, monthly webinars. So we're curious to know if those would be areas that you want us to focus on going into 2024. So go ahead and place your answer, and I'll leave the poll open for a few more moments. All right, looks like the voting has slowed down. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. And it looks like 80% said yes, that would be helpful. So while those topic areas were general in nature, there's a lot of detail behind those, so we can definitely dive deeper into those. So we will make that consideration going into 2024 for this program.
All right, thank you, Laura. ISC Squared is a nonprofit organization, and it specializes in training and certifying cybersecurity professionals. And they've actually committed to offering their entry-level certification, which is called Certified in Cybersecurity, free for the first 1 million participants. So this could be a good opportunity for an organization to raise its cybersecurity understanding of the staff with limited investment. I believe there's a $50 fee to participate, but the training and the testing is free. And you can learn more about this at ise2.org. All right, and Laura's going to take us through CloudWave cybersecurity education and resources.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. So yeah, just wanted to give you some reminders of some things that we've been sharing throughout this program, and then some new information that's available to you to help in training of your teams. So the first is just a reminder that we put all of the past webinar recordings on the Insider Program YouTube playlist. So hopefully you've all had a chance to go there and visit some of the past recordings if you maybe missed one of the webinars. And more importantly, if you have the opportunity to share those with your team members, feel free to share that playlist with them. There's other resources on our YouTube channel as well, but that's a great resource and training for your team. So we'll continue to add content to that playlist as we go forward, but just utilize that for some training going forward. And you can always find this link on our resources page for the Insider program, and I'll include it in all of the follow-up emails as well. But feel free to shoot me a note if you have trouble finding any of that. Something that we recently launched is the Cybersecurity Awareness Toolkit for Healthcare. As you can see, all of the resources that Jonathan just talked about, it can be overwhelming at times to figure out what to focus on first. I'm sure you get lots of emails with this information from various organizations, from HHS, from CISA, from FDA, et cetera. So we've taken all of that information and tried to put it in one place for you to access. So what you'll find there are resources from Cybersecurity Awareness Month, focusing on those 4 main themes that Jonathan touched on. There'll be videos there that you can view, resources for your teams that you can share. The subset of the presentation that Jonathan went over for those 4 key themes from CISA is listed there. So tons of resources that you can utilize. And then we've expanded that to include the resources specific for healthcare, because those can be unique. So we want to make sure to share the CISA resources for healthcare there, including the health industry cybersecurity practices, those volume 1 and 2, and the main document from HHS you'll find there as well. And then in addition to that, as you know, we've put out a lot of education around specific topics around medical device security, AI, strategy planning, all of those types of topics. So you'll find links to those topics as well as the templates and the manuals. We have some blog posts listed there. So just really trying to capture all of this in one place for you. And Jonathan, if you want to go, yeah, there you go. So this is what the toolkit looks like. And you'll see, I know it's difficult to read here, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like. And on the top half is really, you'll see resources geared towards sharing with your teams for end user education, more geared towards those topics from Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And then the bottom section are resources geared towards education for your organization, medical device security, AI, things like that. So I will go ahead and put a link to this in the chat so you can access it, and we will also include it in the follow-up email as well, so you can have access to that. And I recommend that you bookmark that and share it with your teams and refer back to it on a regular basis. And I wanted to give you some information about what the Cybersecurity Insider program will look like going into 2024. So over the past couple months, we've asked you to fill out a couple different surveys asking for your input. So thank you to those that were able to do that. The majority of you said that you like the live monthly webinars, 85% in fact. So we will be continuing with the live monthly webinars. And we will continue to have those on the last Thursday every month just for consistency. So we'll look forward to having those next year. Tied for second were the virtual tabletop that we did back in May, and then the TAC alerts, the threat intelligence alerts that we send out on an as needed basis. So those came in a close second, so we'll likely continue those going into next year as well. And then looking at first quarter coming up, the webinars for January through March, these are the topics that we're considering. These are subject to change. For January, I think it's always good to do a recap of the prior year, look at lessons learned, and see how you can put the education that you received into action. So that'll be the focus in January. We're looking to also do a joint webinar with the FDA, targeting February for that. We're still working out those details to talk about medical device security and including their new pre-market guidance that they just released. And then one other topic that we heard feedback from you on the surveys was that you were interested in learning how to engage your senior level in cybersecurity. So that's the topic that we're looking at for March. So we'll keep you posted on those. And one new item that we're looking to add for next year is an in-person event called Hacking Healthcare. And we're looking to schedule that in April. Right now, tentative dates the 16th through the 18th, which falls right in between HIMSS and Muse. And we're looking to do that in Chicago. That was one of the top areas of the country that you noted in the survey. So working out details to see if we can do that in Chicago. And that session will entail a lot of education, cybersecurity education. We might do a mini tabletop. We'll have some breakout sessions, possibly some guest speakers. We're still finalizing what that will look like. So if you do have ideas, I did add a survey question at the end of this webinar. If you have any topics that you would like to see in the in-person session, please let us know there. And the next live webinar, as a reminder, is November 30th at 2 o'clock. The title is Ask the Expert, and we will have a panel led by John Gomez, and it will include Kelly Watson, who is our director of our operations center. Guy McAllister is a former CIO, and he runs our cybersecurity risk assessments. And we're looking to add a hospital CIO on the panel as well, to be named later. If there's anyone on the call that is interested in participating on the panel, you have some unique cybersecurity experience or information that you think would benefit the group, please reach out, let me know. We'd be happy to have you. So we're looking forward to that. And because we want this to be interactive and we want to hear your questions live, we're looking to move the platform for that session to Microsoft Teams instead of GoToWebinar. So I'll be sending out details on how to access that as it gets closer. Okay, and so I know we've shared a lot of resources with you. You will be getting the email with the link to that toolkit page, as well as this presentation with all of the links. So I don't see any questions that have come in. So I hope this was helpful and beneficial. Please fill out the survey to let us know at the close of the webinar. And we look forward to hearing from you and speaking with you next month. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.